Welcome everybody to Anti-Stall Racing's IMSA series. It's the season finale here this week at the Super Speedway in Daytona, of course running the road course, the oh so famous road course that makes up the biggest race of the IMSA calendar in real life. And we're here for our season finale, a little bit different to real life where it's the opening round each season, but it kind of feels like an obligatory race in any IMSA series to race at Daytona. The GT3 classes titles were both decided last week. I can tell you your GT3 AM champion is Ignis, as we expected, and your GT3 Pro champion is Casper Ummerlin. There is a battle in GT3 Pro for P2 though between Matteo Ubertali and Daniel Morpy, and the same is true in GT3 AM between Matteo Lemaray and Amy Grime. But the real battle today is going to be for the GTP AM and GTP Pro titles. The current points difference between the leader and current runner-up Robin Duhamel is only 32 points, and in GTP Pro that gap between Balaz in P1 and Mateus in P2 is a measly 20 points. We're about to go into qualifying. The drivers are on their out laps now for this session. The GT3 title is decided, like I said, but there's still a lot to be fought for further down the standings. Ule, what are you looking forward to in today's event?
Yeah, well, you already said it. Well, with the GT3s, the P1 has already been decided, so it's pretty much just their own dignity they're fighting for, even though it's probably doing pretty well right now, seeing as we have two leaders that have secured the championship before the final round, but we are looking for that P2 and P3 and in both the Pro and AM, and not only a GT3 but also GTP classes. I have some great battles all around, especially GTP Pro. Remember last week at Monza, Jean-Paul he was doing phenomenally. I had an amazing qualifying session, and I was gonna say an even better race all up till the point where he had to pit the second time and didn't manage to break in time. Got a stop-go penalty and didn't throw it out because he's still mathematically within reach of a championship position, but he has compromised his chances severely. So I'm also looking forward to that battle. It's going to be great. I'm looking forward to the American speed temple in a way. It's a lot of similarities between this one and Monza with all the, well, it's not straight, is it, when you're going left, but it's flat out, and it's a lot of slipstream battle that we're going to see today.
Yeah, so we're on board here with Ignis, the championship leader in AM. He said earlier this week to us that he's currently focusing on what his pace is going to be like for next season, and comparing himself to some of the pro drivers where he expects to be if he returns for next season. You can grab your entry for next season on the website linked below in the description. So Ignis here, it's not a lap that's going to decide his championship. It is going to put him potentially further ahead of his two rivals behind him, but there's important points to be gained here as he washes a little bit wide in the first horseshoe and he pulls out of that lap. Adam Jarvis,
yeah, Ignis. Yeah.
Go on,
Jarvis, one purple sector there at the beginning. I just wanted to mention Ignis as well. He's only had one round where he didn't get max points, and he got 285 points there. So he is, yeah, as we've already said, he's world clear of P2, P3. But if you can get 7 max round points, I think you should be expecting a pro promotion as well. Question if he's gonna stay in the GT3s then, or if he's gonna make the jump to GTP, maybe.
Yeah, but it's a decision. We've already had one driver confirm they're going to be leaving the GTP class and entering in the GT3 next season, so it'll be interesting to see that switch. Adam Jarvis currently with one purple sector, but then Daniel Morpy has actually gone, well, I was about to say purple in sectors 1 and 3, but then he's lost that purple sector. I believe we should be getting some times on the board, although they're not quite showing up on the display just yet. There we go. That's your first real lap. Adam Jarvis a 1:45.5. So that's a pace at the moment for the GT3 field. A long lap around Daytona, lots of straights. Tom Carroll can get close, but not within half a second. And then see Stefan Vestra able to get within just over 3.5 tenths of Adam Jarvis, and Lawrence Van Stryland only 1/10 behind him as well, as the time sort of start to tumble down. Emre goes even quicker.
Yeah, 45.3 there from Emre. See Adam Jarvis, as we was just on board with, if I'm not mistaken too much. He's gonna have a little bit of a toe on the oval part. He manages to catch I believe it was a Ferrari in front of him. So interesting to see if he can go even quicker. I believe we're gonna get some 44 laps, so we're not down there where we can say that we have a qualifying winner just yet, as Guden goes purple in sector 1. So so far from done, though just 5 minutes in. But interesting, Adam Jarvis, 2 yellow sectors there and a green one, another yellow. It's gonna be hard to catch up here in the final part of Daytona. It is just going flat out. There's not much to do to gain any time. See, Gooden's gonna cross the line. It's not gonna be an improvement, fortunately for him. 47. Yeah, so it's not that fast, even though I got a purple sector.
Here we go, the Acelith Motorsport cars. Yeah, like you say, I was about to call it out, towing each other down the straight. There's a big advantage to be gained here around Daytona. Obviously, most of the track, or a lot of the track, a lot of the distance covered is on the NASCAR oval. So big gains to be found from a slipstream, and you can see it there. Matteo Batali, who had the tow from his teammate all the way around the back stretch, puts in a mega lap time, 1:44.9. First driver to break into the 1:44s. So we saw that there. I think we're going to see this team probably run the same strategy again, as 2 of those cars exit the pit lane. But crucial to remember, those 2 will, if they want to do that strategy, they're going to have to make it a bit fair and keep swapping around, unless they're trying to get the best overall result for the team in the drivers' standings. Obviously no team standings, but maybe trying to get the best drivers' standing results they can. So Daniel Morphy here, trying to move up to P2 in the Pro Championship. The Pro title obviously decided, as we've already discussed, but he's trying to move up into that P2 position. Quite a big jump in prize money if he can do that as well. He's managed to set 1 purple sector, I believe it might have been 2, but it's gone down to 1 now, and he's now lost that purple sector to Lawrence Van Stryland. But I think we'll still see an improvement here, and it should put him fairly high up the board, considering they were 2 purple sectors before they went to green. So they might be personal best, but they also are going to be relatively high performing laps as he goes all the way below the apron. And like I said there, solid lap. A little bit slower on the oval than some of his rivals, but he was mega in the infield.
Yeah, notice how I didn't really have a slipstream there on the outlap, so it's going to be interesting to see how the drivers with more than 1 teammate is gonna fold out as we progress through this qualifying session. Just past the halfway mark, a few seconds ago. Lawrence Van got a purple sector. Stefan Vestra got a first purple sector. Have the yellow one here in the 4th. Gonna get Stefan across the line relatively soon. Let's try and see. Might even be the driver we're on board with right now. A little difficult to tell from this view, but let's see.
Is Stefan Vestra that we're on board with, getting the tow from his teammate Lawrence Van Stryland. And I come across the line, and there you go.
Yep, there's a new pole. 44.8. A great time from Stefan Vestra. But it's not much faster than what Daniel Murphy manages to put out. So I don't think we are there yet, even with these incredibly low times as they really are. Adam Jarvis shows that we are not done. Goes for another purple sector, sorry, yellow first sector. It's gonna be interesting. I don't have the timing table, unfortunately, so I'm not too sure how much slower he is. Another yellow, not looking too great for Adam here. Goes across the line, it's not enough to improve his positioning as it stands.
See what Adam Jarvis can do. Straight now to the line, hug the yellow line. Some drivers have been coming below it to try and get an even better run, but no, he stays above it. What can he do? Still not a massive
Half a
improvement.
second off. Not as fast as I perhaps had anticipated, but still a decent time. I mean, half a second off is not much, even considering that the other opponents have slipstream to help them out. It helps a lot here at Daytona, just like it does at Monza. See how many straight lines we actually have.
It's a particularly long lap around here as well, worth remembering. Nearly 2 minutes in the GT3. So, a hefty distance. And one bad exit onto a straight can easily cost you out.
Yeah, especially because so much of the lap is spent going flat out. There's 4 corners that you have to brake for, and then the chicane as well, obviously, but pretty fast corners, not really a slow corner. The one that we see the Porsche going through right now is the second slowest, and then we have the slowest right here, but pretty wide exits, so they can carry a lot of speed through. That's also why it's so important to carry as much speed through the corners as you can, have a great exit as well. See, the Porsche stops probably didn't have a good enough exit. But yeah, we see some drivers going on the apron. I don't believe that it helps you that much, because you do have to do some turning with the car that you're being helped with when you go on the banked part of the track. So even though it's a straighter line, on a shorter line to the finish line, I don't think it helps you that much, especially not if you can get the slipstream. The oh so beloved slipstream. Also see some different lines there coming out of the final corner before the oval part. Some drivers choose to take it a bit more narrow, and others choose to take it a bit wider. Of course,
I think the
each have their
teammates
own benefits. Yeah, they are teammates.
perhaps trying to help each other out. Harry Gooden new to the championship, so the only race this season. Is he only here really to try and help his teammates out with a tow? Possibly
Yeah,
not.
he didn't
But
really back off before the chicane. Question is if he should have done that. He goes wide now and lets his teammate past. Yeah, well, we don't really know how that's gonna pan out before it crosses the line and sets the lap time. But I'm not really seeing any purple. I'm seeing a few green sectors here and there, but have to gain quite significantly to improve those. So yeah, 2 minutes left of this GT3 qualifying session. Then we have kind of the final GTP session coming right up. A lot of yellow, so people don't seem to be improving much, not even on their own lap time. Those have had a tow.
take a look at this incident. It's just been put under investigation by race control. Okay.
Oh.
I
Yeah,
imagine
coming out
Antonori.
of the international horseshoe.
Yeah, Paolo Antonori. Let's take a look from his onboard. I imagine he feels that the car in front came back
so
onto the track
Porsche
unnecessary.
tries to come
Oh, and
back.
hit the brakes. Porsche in front tapped the brakes. Saw the brake lights flash on there briefly. That may have upset the driver in the Audi.
Yeah, Porsche should have perhaps gone to the right as it was already doing, to try and get off the racing line. But it is difficult when you have a car approaching you at a fast speed. Try and make the right decision. Can't already go always get the right one down. Mark Hutchinson, the 2 green sectors, see if he can improve. It is relatively close between all of the drivers. It's a little bit of a gap there between P5 and P6, but it's not a lot.
Mark will be hoping to get himself ahead of Ignis to get him into the group with the pros. Ignis currently the AMS separating him, and he is able to do that. Key battle to watch here actually is the Amy Grime Matteo Lemeroy battle, separated by very few points. Only 6 points separates the 2 drivers, so that's worth remembering. GT3 Pro Matteo Ubertali over just around 80 points clear of Daniel Morphy, but Daniel Morphy scoring quite a few more points than him in qualifying, up in P2 as it stands, as the final few drivers come across the line to take the checkered flag. So he'll need to do a bit more in the race, but that's a good gain for him. Stefan Vestra as well, hoping to move up a little bit in the championship, is only 3 points off of the car ahead of him, so he'll have swung that balance. So that driver ahead of him in the championship is Lawrence Van Stryland, currently in 3rd place, but he'll be hoping that he can swing that. It will have swung his way now after qualifying, but he'll need to make sure he can swing it his way in the race as well. Black flag issued to Matteo Lemeroy. I believe that will just be an in-game penalty. We had no message from race control to indicate why that would have been handed out. Casper Umland not
seems like everybody's gonna make it through. But I'm unsure if Jessica Perry is gonna be within the 105%. I could imagine being 4.7 seconds off is probably a bit on the if it's not on the edge, then it's certainly above it. Really? 1.9 should be within reach.
We'll be back in just 1 second, everyone. Okay, everybody, welcome back. We've got green flag in GTP qualifying. So Balaz, the championship leader in the pro class, out leading, well, say leading the field. He's not leading the field. He's about, well, he's second in the field, leading this pack, let's say. He'll be trying to set a impressive lap time to try and extend his current championship lead. Currently, the lead is about 20 points, so he can gain a decent chunk in qualifying. That's 20 points ahead of Matej, so that's the battle to watch in the AM class, in the pro class, apologies. And then the battle in the AM class is going to be between Alvaro Gutierrez and Robin Duhamel. That's a really small gap as well at the front, only 32 points, so keep your eye on that battle. David van der Vacker as well, a little bit further behind, about 70 points off at the back of Alvaro, off the back of Robin, so still potential for him to gain there. Following Balaz through turn 1 as he attacks this lap. I know he's not leading the pack, but we're going to watch this lap because this will probably be the marker for who can set an impressive lap time. This is going to be one of the key laps to watch.
A little bit of a no-issue movement on the exit there for Balaz. Try and see. Come down here, it's a difficult corner to get right. He goes all the way down into first gear. Looks pretty good, and he's setting himself up for some tow here as he comes onto the oval again. So we could expect a really good lap time here. Not sure what we're aiming for in the GTP cars.
Jean-Paul Seaman with a mega sector 2. You can see that purple there. It's 15.8, 3/10 quicker than what Balaz set in sector 2, and matching each other in sector 3, and Jean-Paul slightly quicker in sector 1, but still think Balaz is going to be the driver we want to follow. Alvaro just ahead of. Is that an off track for Balaz? It is. That's an off track, so this lap will be invalidated.
Yeah, might have another one in the bank. Balazs, but looked a bit on the edge there as well, staying it a bit too far. But that's what qualifying sessions are about. It's about pushing limits, trying to see where you can gain lap time. As Alvaro Gutierrez goes fastest currently, 1:32.4. Kevin Hill following up with a 1:32.8. So pace seems to be equal for the drivers crossing the line. Actually, a few drivers going significantly slower than Alvaro. Eloy crossing the line, going 2/10 faster than Alvaro, 32.2. Let's see, what about Sean Paul? Is gonna be crossing the line relatively soon, if he haven't already. Have not. Trying to see. Albert Prim also with 2 purple sectors. Where's that gonna put him? It's gonna put him pole 31.9. So, almost 3/10 faster than Eloy.
First driver in the 31.9s. That's going to be the baseline now that all of the drivers are going to be aiming for. Just going to issue a quick apology for the state of the camera pack, trying to work out what's going on with them now, but we'll stick with it for qualifying. Jean-Paul Seaman just lost that purple sector to you'll never guess who. He doesn't give up. We've never seen him give up. It's Matthias Vincent, who has set 3 purple sectors so far this lap. Let's follow him round for the rest of the lap. You can see the steepness of the banking with the gyro camera here. He's going to slowly start to level off as he enters the famous bus stop chicane, now called the Le Mans chicane, but everybody who's raced here calls it the bus stop. Braking hard, use all of the curb on both sides. Car under rotates a little bit and he uses a lot of the exit, and actually that's a 1x and that lap's over. He'll be kicking himself because that was going to be a mega, at least you would imagine, front row, and likely a lap that would have secured him provisional pole position in that title fight. That's not something he can afford to lose. Saying that though, Balazs has still not set a lap time, so right now he's going to be gaining on Balazs. Let's see if Balazs is on a lap now. He is, but it's a lot of yellows so far, so this might just be a little bit of a banker, or perhaps it's an outlap. Anyway, we're going to follow him through into turn 1. Let's go on board and see what he can do with this lap. He's got a car a nice distance in front. That's the car number 101. That is Daniel Reneke, who will be providing the tow to our championship leader Balazs, who will be grinning from ear to ear, having seen Matthias have to abort that lap for an off track. What can he do to try and secure pole position now, or at least move ahead of his championship rival? And that's the key there. I'd also point out Robin Duhamel currently sitting P3, but Alvaro Gutierrez in P4 as well. So the 2 AM drivers showing some real pace today, and they're going to be really important to look at in the race. So Robin will gain a few more points and start to close that gap, but it won't be enough to overtake in the championship going into the race. He's still going to have work to do in the race. Balazs comes into the bus stop and you can see how much he gains on Daniel Reneke, and that's pure confidence there, and that's going to give him a mega tow. Believe it's the Cadillac in front of Daniel Reneke, and let's see what Balazs can do. You can see him getting closer and closer, and that's how powerful the slipstream effect can be. Nearly on the rev limiter, driver in front pulls off, and Balazs is going to go to the apron and straighten out the run as much as he can. Comes back on the track. It's not pole position, but it is P3, so the second row, while his rival sits down in P6 and 2 temps clear of his rival. So that was what he needed to do for now. He's got another 8 minutes to try and improve that lap and go quicker. Jean-Paul Seaman, though, the teammate of the challenger in Pro, is setting a pretty impressive lap so far. He's yellow in sector 1, but I tell you what, it's only 2 times slower than what Matisse has just done to set the purple sector, but then he's gone purple in sector 2, purple in sector 3. So this is going to be an important lap to watch to see how much pace the DLR car has in qualifying trim. You can see in there, he's just popped onto your timing screen at the bottom. Avale improves but stays P8 as it stands. Jean-Paul Seaman turns into the chicane super aggressively, you can see from this angle. Matisse with 2 yellow sectors but a purple in sector 1. Maybe he's trimmed off the downforce a little bit and that time was gained going into turn 1. Let's see what time Jean-Paul Seaman can do, and he's green in sector 4. This final run to the line is going to be crucial. Let's see if we can find out if he has any sort of toe, and he doesn't. He's got a big gap in front of him. But I tell you what, it's pole position, so the car does have it in it to try and move up. Jean-Paul Seaman, obviously running currently P3 in the championship behind his teammate who is in P2. He's about 90 points behind his teammate, but it's going to be a big gain for him in that battle for P2 and potentially P1. Mateo goes to P1. So the DLR cars might be able to control this race from the front. What's your thoughts so far, Ule?
Yeah, well, he just threw away 3 purple sectors a few minutes ago. Matthias Weiden then comes back and just demolishes the pole position, 2.5 tenths almost to Jean-Paul Seaman, 0.23. So even Jean-Paul with he had some purple sectors there as well. I believe he had 2. It's not fast enough. And what about Balazs? He's gonna be scratching his neck and thinking about what he's gonna have to do.
Tell you what, the DLR cars
to try and find 6/10 out on this track is gonna be very difficult. You saw how much toe he had there from the bus stop to the finish line.
The DLR cars
have to pull something interesting up.
Yeah, he will, absolutely. And with the DLR cars improving yet again, they've both got a purple sector so far
purple.
This lap. Albert Preem moves up to P2, but what can Jean-Paul Seaman do? And he's going to go to pole position ahead of his teammate by 0.03 of a second. And Matthias Winton is still on a pretty quick flying lap at the moment as well. Some yellows, but some green and 1 purple, which is the key one there. He's on the run now to the line. What can he do? Is he going to stay P2? He is, because no, he's not. Moves up ahead of his teammate. 15 thousandths of a second. Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. It's incredible how close it can get here in the last couple of minutes of the final qualifying session of the season. Nothing separating the 2 DLR drivers. Albert Preem trying to get into the mix as well. 1.5 tenths behind. It's not much. Could probably find it out there if he really nails an outlap here, but it's going to be tight 3 days. Oh, as a DLR car goes off, is that Metai?
Davey van der Wacker, who was set an improved lap time, currently sits down in P13, not where he would want to be. Quinton Verdonk in the AM class is currently sat in P4 overall. He's in P5 in the championship. Don't believe he can challenge for the title, but that's going to be a big boost to his day if he can start that far up the order.
Yeah, Van der Wacker, he is. It's gonna be very difficult for him. He's gonna need a phenomenal race and a good amount of luck to get the championship secured today. He's 110 points behind Alvaro Gutierrez, is currently leading the GTPM championship, but yeah, being 1.5 seconds down is quite difficult, especially when your competition is where are they? P5 currently, and Duhamel P8, but not much time. 4th, 10th, 3.5 separating those 2. No, I'm looking at the wrong table. It's only 2 tenths really separating Robin and Alvaro. Still P5 and P8. Those 2, Robin improving a little bit, doing a 32.3, but it's not enough. Might have a little bit here left in the tank for a final run around the Daytona circuit. Let's try and see if we got the 963 car here of Quinton Verdonk, currently P4. He's gonna cross the line. Is it gonna improve his position? Try and see, waiting for the time. No, does not. He's still gonna be P4. Looks like he's not done yet though. He keeps on pushing. Looks like he nailed it in turn 1. And he just have the rest of the track to try and worry about. But yeah, interesting battles. You said yourself in all of the series. But Blash right now, he's been leading for a few rounds now, but it's looking like it might fall through his fingers. As Jean-Paul Seaman, currently P2, gets through two green sectors and a purple one. So I'm gonna have to find 15 thousandths of a second. Can he do it here in the final one? It's gonna cross the line relatively soon, as you can see. The great graph is filling up the final section. It's gonna be a green one, so we can expect the pole, new pole. Yeah, we can. 18 hundredths of a second faster than Matthijs. Phenomenal qualifier, this Jean-Paul Seaman. He is what Matthijs has been all of the other seasons. Just a bit of a league of his own when it comes to qualifying, at least.
The mega marker, the throwdown with only 30 seconds left in the session, and he's just gone purple again in sector 2, so he's not giving up just yet as well. We're trying to move up the order a little bit more.
Jean-Paul is 90 points behind Matthijs in the standings. It's going to be a little bit of quick math for me. It's too difficult math for me to do with all the drop rounds taken into calculation, but I think it's going to be difficult for Jean-Paul to improve his position in the championship enough to challenge P1 and P2. But Blaž is he's on a great pressure right now. Oh, Albert actually goes P2, goes in front of Matthijs. It's only one position that Matthijs has lost, but could be deciding in the end, especially for Blaž. He's gonna have to overtake quite a few cars to get up there and get the slipstream.
Yeah, apologies for the black screen, everybody. I believe because the session has ended, we've been kicked out of the video footage temporarily. We'll go back to it, of course, when we go into warm up. But Albert Preem setting a time to put him on the front row there. Mateus not able to get close, 300ths behind Albert Preem, but not good enough for the front row after all was said and done. Robin Duhamel, though, with a pretty poor qualifying overall, down in P10, while Alvaro Gutierrez up in P5, so that's going to make the job even harder for Robin. He's going to need some mega race pace in that Porsche to try and move up the order. Alvaro Gutierrez and David van der Vack are the only two drivers.
Look at Van der Vack and how close he is to Blaž in the qualifying standings. He's got 3 green sectors. He's going to cross the line and get another green sector. He's going to overtake Blaž.
No, he's not. Doesn't move up the order.
So he's lost too much time there in the only sector that he goes yellow. But yeah, that's unfortunate for Van der Vack. It looked like it was going to be a good lap, but not good enough, fortunately.
Yep. So
that's it.
Qualifying's done. We'll be back with you in just 1 second.
Always will start when you're...
Okay, while we were away on break, we just heard from the race director.
Sorry, Alvaro.
Giving a big thank you to everybody that's taken part this season, and we extend that up from the broadcast team as well. Big thank you to all the drivers who've taken part, even if it's not been for the full season. We hope to see everybody who can be back next season join us again for the next season of IMSA, and perhaps for the Super Formula Light, more casual series that's been going to be run on a Wednesday as well. So we're in the warm-up now. Ule, what are your key points to look out for in the race?
Yeah, well, it's obviously start trying to see if people can get away and get into small groups in the front, try and pull enough away that the other contenders can't get out. It's what Blas is going to be quite afraid of here in the beginning, that he's not going to be able to pass those 4 or 5 cars that he has in front of him up to Matthijs. So that's going to be key, but also just turn one in general. It's a bit like at Monza. It can be a hill if people are not careful, but we have a lot of careful drivers here, and the racing is great. So not expecting too much carnage, but never say never. It's the final race. Everything can happen. People might get a little aggressive here at the end. You have a championship to win, or at least make us as good as possible. So that's what we're gonna have to look out for in all the classes.
Yeah, absolutely. There's going to be a lot of close battles in the championship, in the pro and AM GTP classes. As well as that, though, there are still positions to be decided in the GT3 classes, and that's going to be crucial. Daytona traffic always really interesting as well. Ule, I'm sure, as somebody that's driven the GTP, you'll be able to agree that the apologies, you'll be able to agree that the traffic can be really difficult on the infield here, and especially if you have to sit behind a car going into the bus stop as well.
Yeah, of course, that's what is going to be one of the crucial points when you want to make those gaps. It's working with traffic and having great traffic management. As we've mentioned so many times, it's the exit of pretty much all corners that's going to be really important, because you have so many straights. So if you can get a good exit and make your way around the GT3 traffic as clean as possible, then you can make out more time than just driving faster around the lap. But I just want to make wave a little flag here from the GT3 AM class. You see Ignas, he's been dominant throughout the entire season. There's nothing else to say about that, but it is close with Amy and Matteo. And if there's anybody out there that is thinking about participating in a class that's going to be competitive, then GT3 AM is definitely one to look out for. So of course can be a little intimidating at times with GTP traffic that wants to make their way through, but it's also part of the fun. It's why we love multi-class racing. It's a team game, not only with your own team, but also all the drivers and cars that you have out on track.
I think getting into this series would be a great way if somebody's maybe not done much multi-class racing before, is looking for a bit more experience in traffic, because pretty big grid in both classes, and also I think the live stewarding that we're able to provide thanks to our dedicated stewarding team, that is going to make it makes the traffic driving a bit less daunting. I think you have more cars around you, but also they're going to be penalised if they do anything silly, so it does make a huge difference. So just
makes for the cleaner racing in general.
Worth noting that Balaz had a fairly poor qualifying, only scoring 26 points compared to Jean-Paul Seaman, who scored 35, and Matthias Winton, who scored 30. So that only leads Balaz's lead down at only 16 points. Obviously, that's assuming the results from today's results. That's not including today's results as a drop round, and assuming a drop round of 0 for Balaz and a drop round of 35 for Matthias as it stands. But obviously there is still a lot to happen in the 1 hour race around, like you called it earlier, Ule, the American Temple of Speed.
Yeah, lining up here. About to go green relatively soon for the final race of the season. It is going to be an interesting one. I'm really looking forward to it. It might be a bit boring to watch cars going full throttles sometimes, but when it's the final race of the season, there's a lot of up, and that's That's the magic of racing. Nothing is over until the checkered flag has dropped.
Advanced apologies to the GT3 field that the focus may end up being on the GTPs today due to the title fight, but we will try and show as many battles as we can, particularly the battle for P2 in GT3 Pro with Daniel Morphy starting on pole. He's got a good chance to try and close in on P2. Jean-Paul Seaman will lead the GTP field to the line. We've seen a lot of Acuras this season. In the Pro class, will we see it shaken up next season? We certainly hope so, but we cannot complain about the battles that we've seen this year. It's been absolutely great this season, should I say. So Jean-Paul Seaman will choose when they go, but Albert Preem will have the outside line braking into turn 1. What can Matthias Vincent do to try and move himself ahead of Albert Preem on the road? And almost just as importantly, what can Balaz do a little bit further back to try and gain some of that time back on Matisse? That's going to be crucial. Down into turn 1, the GTPs go.
That's a great start from Jean-Paul. It's an even better start from Matthias Weiden up into P2 before we even get into turn 1. It's incredibly crucial for the two Dutch drivers. Looks like they might be getting a little bit of a gap here in the background. See some cars battling as well. It's not going to help Blaž. Blaž up into P5 already. He's right on the tails of Eloy as well. So I think we see him in the picture here. The purple car is going to come on the outside. Is he passed? Looks like he's passed, yeah. So up into
Balaz is off.
No, he's off. He's off. Balaz is off the track. Down into 7th, loses a lot of time.
Daniel Morphy loses the lead into turn 1 in GT3. That's Stefan Vestra who's taken the lead away from him. And another teammate of Stefan's trying to go around the outside of Daniel Morphy. He's going to have to try and regain that position on the road. Let's take a look at what happened to Balaz, the championship leader, on the opening lap.
Yeah,
go
so
around the
comes,
outside. Gonna make it stick around the outside. Desperate move.
Yeah, so
to
he
try
didn't
and
actually get past before they got down into a Western horseshoe.
big incident put under investigation by
A little bit of a punt there as well.
race control. I believe this is the incident they're looking at. This is Harry Gooden.
Off the track.
Is he gonna
He's
rejoin?
going to be able to rejoin safely. Yeah, no cars behind him, so it's going to be fine for him.
Let's take a look. I believe that incident was incorrectly grouped. This is the incident that they're talking about.
Paolo looks like he's going to go up the inside. A little difficult to tell what happens there.
Yeah, I'm not
Maybe
sure.
a little bit of punting. Didn't look like it was much more than just hard racing on that one.
Leave that to race control.
Yeah. Daniel Morphy breathing down the neck of Stefan Vestra. So gonna come down into turn 1. He's gonna look up the inside of Stefan. No, he doesn't. He backs off and lets Stefan have another go at leading the infield. But he's under pressure himself from Lawrence right behind him, so he's gonna have to do a move. I don't think he's too happy that there's another car between him and his teammate. He's probably gonna make a move as soon as possible. And Daniel Morphy likewise. Problem is when he gets past Stefan, he's gonna have all of the slipstream, so it's really difficult to try and battle and try and stay in the lead. And that's also what we're seeing Daniel doing by letting Stefan leading. Not only is he not going to be under attack the next lap, he's also going to do a lot of fuel saving and hopefully try and gain some time through the pit lanes when we come around.
Yeah, you can
for our
gain.
first round of pit stops.
You'll save quite a lot of fuel tucked up behind another car like Daniel Morphy was into turn 1. So perhaps that's the strategy. Sit behind Stefan and you'll be able to go perhaps even a lap longer on fuel. You can see how much he's gaining already, and that gives him the ability to back off hugely into the bus stop if he doesn't want to go for the move. You can see already slowing down there, lifting off, braking a little bit earlier. Then he's going to coast it through here and maximize the exit, as you can see already there. and get right up close to Stefan Vestra. Close enough now, but really I'm surprised he's not considering making a move. He's kind of broken the most effective bit of the toe to Lawrence Van Stuylen behind, but it looks like he's more than happy to sit behind and use perhaps the top speed of the Porsche to his advantage there.
Not even seeing a little bit of a bump draft between the two. You know, they're going really close. Okay, might be getting the bump draft here, but yeah, he's still happy to stay behind. I think if he's lucky enough, he can go for a move down the inside into the bus stop. That's going to compromise the entry for Stefan, and then Lawrence is also going to have to brake a little bit to not crash into Stefan, and then Daniel can hopefully make his way through. But it's going to come down to GTP traffic if it stays like this, because if one of them get caught at a stupid moment and the other one gets a good enough exit, then they're just gone. And then we have the gaps that's never going to be developed throughout this race. Albert Preem in his blue Acura, hunted down by who is that behind him? That's probably Patrick.
I believe that's Albert Preem behind. The camera's just sort of focusing on
Albert Preem behind, sorry. Then it's of course Young Valle in front of him. Yeah, mixing up the two drivers. Unfortunately, both in Acuras. So it's a little difficult to tell all of the Acuras apart. Close racing there in front of Ovale. Looks like Eloy. No, it's gonna be. It's a Porsche, so it's not even a pro driver. It's the AM car of. Is it Quinton Verdonk?
The AM car.
It might be, and then Alvaro Gutierrez. Was it Ruben Duhamel? It's hard to see. With
directly in front right now is Robin Duhamel. Yeah. Worth noting as well that the leaders are pulling away from Eloy Cabinero, with Mateus just staying nicely tucked up behind his teammate. We talked about that fuel saving that Daniel Morphy appears to be doing, and looking at that, you'd have to say Mateus is probably doing the same thing.
Yeah, Mateus is going to be looking at the same we saw it a couple of months, even though it wasn't the GT3 where Kasper Umelen that overtook his teammate in the pitch just because he's been sitting around for an entire stint, just fuel saving, and that it saved him enough time that he could get a nice gap in front. I don't remember the other episode. It was a championship deciding. The viewers can go back and to that stream and see what I believe. Was it Robin Duhamel that needed a 5-second gap to actually get ahead of Alvaro Gutierrez, who lost a lot of time in the pit lanes, and then actually came out 3 seconds behind or something like that, and then Robin Duhamel had an incident and that kind of ruined his race. But the pit stop can be crucial. And this is what I'm talking about with all of this traffic management. You see 3, 4, 5 cars bunched up just because the GT3 have to go through, and because the GT3s are significantly slower through corners than GTPs are. There's a speed difference that can be significant for all kinds of racing. You see the gap right now. Jean-Paul and Matthias are 14th, but then down to Eloy 3 seconds. It's well out of any kind of slipstream range, and not even in the top 3. I'm seeing Blash, so he's
contact there.
A bit of a moment there. I think that's all. But Preem had contact with the GT3. Didn't look like he was gonna get boxed in by Young Valle. But Preem going on the apron to overtake Amy and Matteo Lemre, having a battle for P2 in GT3. Matteo Lemre comes flying through turn 1
Quick control,
and hits 2 cars. He hits Robin Duhamel, a championship contender. So now I really want to see the replay of that one. That Robin Duhamel is gonna be, he's not even gonna be mad. He's probably gonna be sad.
His own teammate as well.
Come flying. Yeah, so look there behind. Albert Preem comes back past the two GT3 drivers, and then Robert Duhamel's a bit of a battle, and Matteo Lemre just comes. He doesn't break into turn 3. And Matteo Lemre wouldn't make a mistake like that.
He's tagged into turn 1.
Yeah, he gets tagged by Amy. We saw in the top there. little difficult to tell from this replay. A big shunt into the side of, I believe it's Ovale, that he goes into the side of Ovale or Gutierrez Alvarez. So notice the front of the GT3. It's the white and gold Ferrari. Don't really get it. Yeah, okay, so it's Ovale that he comes flying into.
Wow, very
say,
dangerous driving from
luckily for
race control in the banking.
For Alvaro Gutierrez.
It's like another look here. So he's going to get... Oh, we go to the wall.
Instant.
Of course we do. Okay, we'll try and take one more look at that.
Final look. Yeah, here we're going to get it. So Amy, yeah.
It's tagged on
Amy
the rear.
just doesn't break for Matteo Lemway. And that's going to be a penalty for Amy for sure. And if it's a 5 or 10 second, doesn't really matter. Look at the right front of Matteo.
Matteo cuts the entire infield, but I think the car is toast anyway.
Right anymore, can he? Yeah. So he's forced to turn left for the rest of the race, crapping along the outlap. I'm sure he's gonna get some compromise there from the race directors. It's just so he doesn't get tangled up in anything else when he comes crawling around. Obviously not gonna go very fast when GTPs are gonna go well over 300 kph. Robert Duhamel obviously also forced to take his fast repair. Luckily for him, he has a fast repair, but he's now out of one, and he's also out of any.
He's going to be in a fuel-saving race now to the end.
Yeah, he is. Any slipstream, but also any championship fights. Down in 11th right now. A devastating moment for Robin. But that's what's racing about. You can have a small an instant tap from a GT3 100 meters behind you, and then because the other GT3 just isn't able to brake, then you're out because he comes flying into the side of you. Sure, Amy didn't mean to do that.
Alvaro now in a direct battle at the front with Davy van der Vacker, who is quite a long way, 110 points behind him, but Davy leading in the race, so he's just got to do his thing now and hope that Alvaro gets unfortunate, and we'll see what happens there. Matteo comes out of the pits and his black flag, presumably that will be the black flag for cutting the infield given by race control. Wesby Caspers has had an incident. Let's take a look at that. Oh, already no rear wing on that car.
He doesn't have a rear wing. He's going the Peugeot style racing. He's gonna lose it here, isn't he? No, actually makes it two.
Oh, pulls off
relatively well.
No,
he pulls off. He's aware that he's losing half of his car. That's not gonna end up too well. Don't think Casper is in any battles at the moment.
Is that what he's got like that?
Trying to see, yeah, he's P10. Casper, 32 points this season. So nice to see him showing off for the final race. Always nice to have more cars out on track. See the track map. It's just filled with dots all around. So there's still a lot of racing going on out there, especially between Matthias and Jean-Paul. Two Dutch drivers just pulling away from Miloy Cabanero. Thing without getting the commentators Chris in on this race, I think we might be looking for yet another Dutch national anthem.
We're going to have that national anthem in quite a few of the classes as well. If we can get that.
Yeah. Just want to point out, Blas is actually back into P5 out after having his off moment on that one. But he is, what is he, 6-7 seconds behind Matthias, so he's gonna have to find a lot in the pit lane. Of course, Matthias is gonna get an optimal pit stop with all the fuel saving that he's been doing.
Dutch
lap 5
drivers.
time penalty, 10 seconds for 161 car.
That's for Emmy Grime. That's that incident in turn 1 that we saw Matteo go flying into turn 1, 10 seconds. Race control being fairly lenient there, you'd have to say. Looks like everybody got away with it relatively well. It could have been a much worse incident, but obviously still not very good. You say we're going to hear a Dutch anthem. We're going to hear 3 of them leading in all 3 classes as it stands. But tell you what, Balaz is not going to give this up easily. He's very quick on track at the moment. 32.9, only a couple of tenths off what the leader's best lap time is. That's his best lap time versus the leader's best lap time. But I tell you what, last time round he was mega quick compared to the leaders. 8 tenths quicker than the leader last time round. So he's putting a shift in, and he's perhaps not going for the fuel strategy that the leaders are going for, and he's going for the, well, we're a bit further back, we might as well send it.
Yeah, well, it's the only thing he can really do at this point. Try and catch up to the little train of cars he had right in front of him. Try and see if he can get some slipstream, and then he's massively quicker than the 3 cars in front of him, as we just saw when they came across the line. So he's probably going to overtake them relatively quickly. If he's lucky enough, they're not going to fight him back either. Probably going to be fighting each other, so he can try and pull away and try to make up for the lost ground. But he still needs a lot of luck.
Absolutely, Mark Hutchinson going around the outside there, mega move. Let's take a look.
Mark Hutchinson fighting with Alvaro. Yeah, pulling away. Now it's Eloy Cabanero. Currently P4 is behind Albert Preem. Albert Preem narrowly avoiding the incident that we saw earlier with the blocking Duhamel as well.
So here you've got Eloy Cabanero chasing down Albert Preem. They've been very close on a couple of occasions last lap, and then the driver Quinten Verdonk, the AM driver, in front, seemingly holding these 2 up right now. But I'll tell you who that's helping. Balaz, who's not far behind these guys. He was 6 times quicker than them on his last circulation. He's yet to come across the line. Tell you what he has now, and 6 times quicker than them again the last lap. Balaz to the car in front, so he's going to be gaining, and we've just seen Albert Preem slip past Quinten Verdonk there. What can Eloy do to try and follow through? But you can see just how flying Balaz is behind. He's so quick, so unfortunate to have that incident on the infield on lap 1. But I'll tell you what, he's not going to give up just yet, is he? He's closing in massively. He's got a big gap to close to the leader, about 5 seconds behind the leader. But that's not too much to ask of somebody that is seemingly flying right now. The leaders have picked up the pace though. They've seen the increase in pace from Balaz, but he's still quicker than them by about 3 tenths last time round. Ule, do you think he can still challenge this in this race and try and secure that championship? I know he's not far ahead, but maybe he doesn't need to win to secure the title. We'll find that out at the end of the race, but it's only 16 points lead at the moment.
Yeah, well, you have to be optimistic. You always have to be optimistic. And believe in yourself. I think Balaz is believing a lot in himself right now, but there's still the factor that it's a GT3 car. So if he is lucky, and Jean-Paul and Matthijs gets unlucky with the GT3 traffic, you saw the insane train that are coming onto the oval as GTP cars here were passing turn 1. He can still make it up, so nothing is out. There's still more than 40 minutes of racing left. It's not much time that he has to gain to make it up. What is it, 5-6 seconds that he's behind? It's not too much. Ooh, a bit of an incident and contact
Eloy, no!
between Eloy. Oh yeah, and avoids the Porsche there, and avoids Blash.
And that's Robin off
coming
again
onto
as
the
well.
track, and then also lost rear there on Mateo again, who's lost the rear. Try and see the incident there.
Oh,
yeah,
Mateo with a wiggle when Quinten Verdonk passed him, and that sent both cars off the road.
If you see it again, notice how the Porsche is.
And Mateo under investigation for that rejoin there. Or he will be.
I could imagine.
Although it looks like he didn't have much control.
He held up.
I believe that was Balaz's teammates.
A lot of things coming up, yeah. It's not entirely on Mateo.
We've seen it.
From the looks that we just had, it seemed like the Porsche was also being a bit aggressive, forced a little bit of a wiggle there from Mateo, and then Eloy didn't manage to react in time, unfortunately, and then contact between all of them. I've been interested to see Blash. Blash is P4. Still, he's
car
actually pinning.
91.
I don't think he has lost that much time actually in that incident. Albert Prim, of course. Look how much time Albert Prim has caught on Matthijs and Jean-Paul.
In for his first stop here alongside a couple of Eloy Cabinero ahead, who obviously had to tow to the pit lane from that damage. I say alongside, but he just happens to be in at the same time. It's going to be crucial to see how the others play their pit stops now, and do they try and match him. Like we said earlier on in this race, Ulay, the traffic here is absolutely crucial to your race.
Pitting.
Yeah, and especially with still a flashback to that little train of 6 GT3 cars, try and manage your way around that in the fastest way possible. That's really difficult to do. Quite easy when you just have a single one. You have to go around the outside of here on the bank part, but it's just so important to maximize your speed through the traffic, and it also shows probably throughout the entire season. The GT3s, remember what GTPs have been nice to them. So if you're good friends with the GT3s, they're probably going to be a bit nicer to you when you come around and you have to work your way through a championship battle.
Davy van der Backer into the pit lane. That's going to be an important marker for Balaz to see where he comes out in relative performance. Alvaro Gutierrez now leading in AM with his championship rival now running a lap behind, well, on the same lap as these guys, but along with that.
To be seen. Robin Duhamel
has done a pit stop now, so Robin will be trying to get to the end on that. Not get to the end, sorry, but do a slightly different strategy to try and reach the end with one more stop, and he'll be on the fuel save strategy, so it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Let's follow Balaz as he comes down the pit straight. That's a pit entry. We've just seen him go past there. A lot of cars still in the pit lane, coming out of the pit lane now. Where's he going to come out ahead relative to Davy van der Backer, who is on pit exit now, and Davy van der Backer now out of the pit lane. So Balaz not quite ahead of him, but much closer than he was before. Obviously Davy van der Backer in the AM class, but just a good marker reference point. He was near the leaders on the last stint. We've got that DLR 1-2, and it was free on road, no longer, but now that driver has pitted. But you know, he was only about a second behind the leaders, and Balaz is only about 4 seconds behind him and showing some mega pace still. So it's not over till it's over.
Yeah, Albert Prim, just saw him going into the pit, half a second behind Matthijs, just about 50 seconds in front of Blash. I think he's going to be a good reference point to see where Blash is in comparison to the two front row runners of Jean-Paul and Matthijs. He's going to come around, he's going to come through the pit stop, the bus stop, sorry, right now. Still a long way around the track to make it over to the pit, but it is a long pit stop. It's not the 20 seconds received from Formula 1. It's not uncommon for them to take 40 seconds, so I think he's gained a lot of time. But let's try and see Albert Prim. He's still in the pits. I see you, Matteo Bertali here. He doesn't have much to race for, does he? Sorry, Bertali has a lot of to race for. He's a P2, confusing with Kasper Ummelen there for a second. Blash within a second of Albert Prim. So, sorry to Mattia to stop this little fight that he had. And then a little bit of a battle with GT3 traffic, but he's really close to Matthijs and Jean-Paul right now. If they don't start going relatively soon, Matthijs has the advantage of 23 minutes of fuel saving as it is right now, so it's not 1-to-1 with the time that he has to Albert Prim right now, but it is a good reference point. It's probably going to be within 1.5 seconds in front of him, so phenomenal comeback drive from Blash. All things considered, he's taking it to the very end here at Daytona.
Jean-Paul Seaman and Matthias Vinton both into the pit lane. Then that's a crucial marker for Balaz now to see how he did on that last stop. So Matthias able to go a couple of laps further than these guys, but no further than his teammate was, which is important to note. But crucially, his pit stop may have been a second, half a second, 2 seconds even shorter, because he'll have had to put a lot less fuel in to make this stint last. He's not been able to reach halfway, so they all will be making 2 pit stops to get to the end, apart from Robin Duhamel, who may be making an additional one on top of that. And
great overspeed. Ooh, almost try to go around the outside.
he's going to try to go around the outside.
Let's go around the outside. Yeah, it doesn't quite make it there on Albert Priem, but had great overspeed there from the bus stop where both the drivers got compromised.
And have you seen the gap to the leaders? Only 2 and nearly 3 seconds off the back of Jean-Paul Seaman, but crucially 2 seconds off of the back of Matthias Vinton. This is now the time for Balaz to try and pass Albert Priem and get him back into this battle for the lead. It's a battle of who finishes ahead of who right now. That's what matters in this category in the pro class. Big shout out to Robin Duhamel. After all, he's only 2.5 seconds behind Alvaro. Obviously, Robin's got a bit more of a challenge to try and make it to the end on fuel, but I reckon he can do it with a bit of saving, and that is a mega comeback. But he is going to need to finish ahead of Alvaro to have any chance in the championship.
How has Robin Duhamel made it back with with that incident that he had in turn 1? I had already ruled him out of any kind of competition, probably taking a second place, maybe third place in championship. Is that Albert Priem?
That is Albert Priem with a slowdown.
Yeah. Yeah, it's probably going to be a slowdown. I don't think he does that on purpose. But that's a mega gift from Albert Priem to Blash. We've seen him go much faster than both Matthias and Jean-Paul, who's obviously been fuel saving, but not enough for Blash to not get into contention of a race win as he has right now. Phenomenal is the only word that I can find right now. It's very well within reach. What a race from Blash.
Exit of the chicane, please.
Mark Hutchinson asking an incident to be investigated on the exit of the chicane. We'll see what race control think of that. But right now, this is the battle for the second place on the road, but it's really the battle for the Drivers' Championship. Balaz will need to finish ahead of Matisse, and maybe even a little bit further than that to secure the championship. It's going to be hard to tell until we know at the end of the race because of the way the draw round is calculated. But I think we can safely say what Balaz needs to do is finish ahead of Matisse, and what Matisse needs to do is finish ahead of Balaz. So what can Jean-Paul Seaman do to help out his teammate? That's going to be important to see, but Balaz gaining on the driver ahead of him so far this lap.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. Is it David van der Vakke that's
Race
in
control,
between
please.
Blash and Albert Priem? It has to be if we got a penalty here. A lap 15, 10-second penalty for the 04 car causing collision. And then another incident being investigated. But Matthias is completely out of slipstream from Jean-Paul. And only 7/10 in front of Blash. So he's called his way all the way back from P7 in the beginning. Or was it P6? Doesn't really matter. We're far back from Matthias to now be in his rearview mirrors. And now Matthias, he's gonna have to show why he's a reigning champion for multiple seasons in GTP.
Yeah, and what is going to be absolutely crucial here is if Balaz can keep the 2 drivers behind him, and then allow them and perhaps help them to pass Matthias Vinton as well, and that'll help put a bit of distance between them. I know Alvaro, is an AM driver, but the car behind is a pro car, and if he can help them file through, it could help his case massively and perhaps help him to secure a good result here. I know we've not really spoken about it, but that crash for Matteo Lemeroy is going to help Amy Grimes secure P2 in the GT3 AM Championship. Really unfortunate ending for Matteo, who's fought well all season long. The battle now for the lead in the championship in GTP Pro, the only one that's really up for grabs Robin would have to do something special in GTPM, but there's still half an hour to go. We saw an unfortunate incident take out Robin. There's no way of knowing that something similar won't happen, or another unfortunate incident won't happen to some of the other championship fighters. So
Yeah, it's of course congratulations to Amy with the P2, but it's not really the way that anybody wants to take a P2 by taking out your competition. But an effective way to do it, nonetheless.
Absolutely, yeah. I don't think Mateo will be too pleased with the way that went down. So,
oh no, I think he's the real loser on this.
last time round, Balaz 7/10 off the pace of Matisse, who seems to be closing on his teammate. I'm starting to wonder if perhaps Jean-Paul Seaman is dropping back to try and give a little bit of a tow. What we haven't spoken about is Davy van der Backer actually leading the race overall now, being 5 seconds ahead of these guys. We didn't quite clock that, but he is the overall leader of the race.
Yeah, and he's still P3 as I've briefly crossed. He is not that many points, only 23 points in front of Joao Diaz, who is currently out of top 5, so looking good for David van der Wacker. He's also, as I briefly mentioned, he's 112 points now behind Alvaro Gutierrez. There's a little bit with all the drop rounds that's not been taken into our consideration just yet, as we still have a race to go. But it's looking good for David van der Wacker, who is who's
late
also having a great
dive
race.
from
Late
Balaz.
dive, yeah. Great
Oh,
race,
and he goes
correction.
off. Oh, he's going to lose track
But,
position here. Costly mistake. Needs to keep Alvaro behind. Can he do that into the braking zone? He's going to try and fight it. Looks like he's going to secure the inside line. GT3 up ahead could hinder him here, but he's not going to get quite the exit he needed on the inside line. There's contact there.
And tries to box him.
As Alvaro muscles his way through. Big costly mistake there.
Yeah, I know Blaise has to push to try and take this championship home, but you can be a bit too aggressive. And that's what we've just seen, taking it a bit too fast into to turn 1 to try and maximize the time that you lose behind GT3 cars. But if one thing is losing time to GT3, another thing is losing time by understeering off the track. That's significantly worse. Seeing a little bit of pit stop strategy here on the right side.
Davy van der Wacker in the pit lane for 2 seconds less than his teammates. That's how he managed to jump. That's part of how he managed to jump into the lead. And Tarowski in there also for a relatively short time, 24.6 seconds. So that's how he managed to gain some of the time on the leaders as well.
Is David van der Wacker part of the front train?
He's leading. He's the overall leader of the race.
He's overall leading.
2 temps ahead of the leader, so he's the guy. He's the guy providing the fuel saving now. We've swapped it around.
Yeah, well, incredible that an AM driver is leading the pro class, but I don't think the DLR team worries too much about which one of the 3 drivers are leading. As long as it's one of them, they're happy, and if they can have 3 in the front, then it's perfect. Also having a great race, the GT3, Kasper Ungelen, of course, championship winner as it stands right now, having not so great race down into 4th position.
Please check this lap.
Behind
I
another
think
teammate
it was on purpose.
in
I cannot understand.
Kamalada, who is 2.3 seconds behind Lawrence, who is once again 2.3 behind Daniel Murphy. So half an hour left of this race, but they're also gonna have to put the throttle down. As we get a replay here of Chris, who punts. I'm starting to get confused by all the blue cars that we are seeing, especially because of the St. Louis.
Carlos
Pons. Carlos Pons that's being punted into the wall.
Investigation by race control.
That's I don't think there's much in that case to do. think it's going to be
Lars with a
penalty
slow
for
down
the car
here,
behind.
costing him more track position. It was looking so good just a few laps ago, and he's over 7 seconds off of the lead now.
Yeah, I wonder why he, or how, rather how he's slows off this lap time. We saw him go incredibly fast, and of course the battery plays a lot. When you come out of the pits, and the first couple of laps are incredibly fast, and then it starts to drop off a little bit as your battery are being lowered. But car off the background, I think it's Jessica Perry currently running last in GT3M. But yeah, it's 7 seconds in what, 3-4 laps. That's not only battery. That's a few mistakes that we've seen, and then another factor that I'm not really sure of. But last lap is a 35.5. It's 3 seconds slower than his current best lap. So something is going wrong for Blush, obviously, and he's gonna have to fix that relatively quick. But he's already done it. I mean, the first 15 minutes he's gained a lot of lap time, so it's not over until it's over. But yeah, gonna have to put something together there. Talk about all the laps that we won to GT3M class. I've really gone over it because it's already been determined, having it Ignis leading by 1.5. Only 1.5 seconds from Tom Carroll.
Yeah, apologies. Tom Carroll was still showing in the pro class from before he was reassigned into AM, so only 1.5 seconds off the lead. We've got a real fight going on there, thanks to Bart for reminding me.
So in reality, he's 20 seconds in front of Amy Grime, who's P2 in standings, and P2 in GT3M as well.
Tom Carroll having
a little bit of a
solid
lockup
race.
as the GTPs are coming through some GT3 traffic. Gonna try and have to find the way around it. It's gonna be really difficult. Just see how much they're being slowed down, trying to manage the way around and try to go into the braking zone. Same braking zone as the GT3s that just can't take it as fast as the GTPs, and that loses you a lot of time. You can see it up on the timing table. It's showing that they're not taking the optimal lines through all of the corners.
David tracked them there up at 43 degrees centigrade, so really hot surface at the moment. That'll be making being in the traffic even harder to run offline, and you've got to heat up the tyres the more you sit behind a car as well.
Yeah, but I think it's another. Is it Robin Duhamel that he has right in front of him? Or is it Quentin
Verdonk directly in front of him?
Yeah. Yeah. So the end drivers are doing very well today.
This could be what undoes it for Mateus. He's trying to make his way through the GT3, ironically DLR cars, while they're getting a little bit fighty. Casper Umland, they're currently running in P4. More GTPs try and file their way through.
Yeah, this is obviously not what they need, the front runners, but it's what they're gonna have to deal with. See Blas in the end of the line for all of these. Another interesting note to take also Eloy going up the inside of who's that? Is that Emma Camalda?
Yeah, I believe so, and that's going to give Casper Umland
I think actually
pretty mega
a
run.
really late dive there. Blas also making it through, but yeah, I just wanted to point out Albert Prim, see how close he is to Matthias, and Blas actually overtook Albert Prim not that long ago, so just imagine where Blas could have been if he didn't have the mistakes and the drop off in that time that he have had, but still plenty of time left to do something about it. Yeah, really late move, didn't really see it on the replay there, but probably a bit on the edge for how good he is. I think stewards are gonna want to have a second opinion on that one.
I believe they both picked up before exit. The stewards may look at it briefly, but like you say, just a slight bit of contact in the corner. So Chris Van Stuylen was given a drive-through penalty. I'm sure you may have seen that pop up on screen for that contact with Carlos Ponce. That was where we saw the car rear-ended in turn 3. So drive-through penalty for that contact. Race control clearly thought that was avoidable. The lad's now past Quinton.
A little bit of battle between Ignace and Tom Carroll. I just noticed in the end, Tom got a hit, but now he's 5 seconds behind, so it might be a little bit of an incident that we can have a replay of. Perhaps Tom Carroll, of course, as we mentioned before, he's not an AM runner, so it doesn't matter too much to him, and it doesn't really matter to Ignace as well, who's 20 seconds clear. So here we have the two. It's after turn 1, Tom Carroll loses it in the second part of the chicane. It's going to be, I think it's actually called turn 3. It didn't look like Ignace
And Carroll trying
had
to take the
anything
lead.
to do with it. Of course, Tom had to avoid crashing into him, but
regarding that incident,
Yeah, no
I'd like to say
championship
that I was
up
full
for
in
battle
parallel
in the
with him
GT3
in
AM,
the
but Tom would
braking.
love to win
I
a
had no
race
other
in
way
that
to go
class
because
today.
it
He's
was
sustained
right
damage from that
behind him.
incident, but let's see. It doesn't look like he's come to pit lane, so maybe we'll try and make it out until he has to stop anyway.
alright, Tom Carroll, it's yeah, but it's not true what we're saying that Tom Carroll isn't in GT3.
He is in GT3 AM.
Yeah, okay, so then I've just confused a couple of things.
Ooh,
It doesn't
car
have
off.
a lot of points. Car off there
That's for Ummerlin.
on the inside of the.
What happened
the
there?
oval
He's going to get rear-ended by his teammate.
Nice.
And race control
It's,
warned the
coming-
drivers. Oh, and he tags. I believe that's Daniel
and then
Mangione.
He hits the
Matteo
wall as well
Ubertali.
on the outside and hits it on the inside.
That was
Loses his,
Matteo
in the
Ubertali. He
process.
got a meatball from this incident. Let's take a look at it. Oh, yeah. And you can see how that got the car a meatball. Really, really costly for Ubertali there. He's going to come into the pit lane this time round, you'd expect, and make it to the end on this stint, which should be possible.
Umelen couldn't really do anything to avoid any cars. Could he maybe hold his brakes? But I'm sure he did already do that. Just it getting bump drafted by his teammate in the Porsche, and that's what happens when you bump there after through a corner. You still have to turn for that little kink. There is see a loose trunk as well on Umelen's car. Not that it matters much for Umelen. He's still a winner of the GT Pro, but this is not the way that he wants to end his race. 20 minutes left, losing a lot of lap time. He's gonna have to stop the car here. It's either advanced aerodynamics, or he just really likes to show off his engine.
The new DRS, new to the GT3 car this weekend.
Well, you're gonna have to tell me, George, does that improve the aerodynamics with the flappy rear end?
I don't think it helps on the straights. I think you may gain a little bit of downforce in the corners. It's a flexi wing. What it is.
Flexi. Well, it reminds me a little bit of the one that Senvo has, where with the active arrow, the wings that goes up. Multiple car brands has that. Not seen it on a GT3 before.
Alvaro was thinking of making a move, but instead makes a move to the pit lane to come in for his final stop with 18 minutes to go, 17.5 minutes to go. He can easily make it to the end from here. So going in early and just trying to bang out some laps with perhaps without as much traffic around, and go for an undercut. Matteo Batali in the pit lane as well. I'm not sure if he used his quick repair already.
I said Umelen.
That is Umelen. He's used his
That's
fast repair.
Going into the yeah, I think he got annoyed of the flapping in the back of his car. I think I would be as well.
But Alvaro comes out just
He's gonna
ahead.
come. Yeah, he's gonna come out behind, so he's not too happy.
Davey van der Wacker in the pit lane from the overall lead, and the lead in class as well. So this is an important marker for Balaz, who has, I believe, now pitted twice. Let's have a look at the pit stop time. Or has Balaz pitted again? Hard to tell, really. Yes, he has pitted again. Not sure why it's not showing that on the tracker.
Yeah, Blas 1.2 kilometers behind. course, Yangchu is also pitting.
Davy van der Vacker exiting the pit lane. Balaz is a long way away. You can see how he's lost out in the second stint of the race. He's going to need to try and show some serious pace in this final quarter, final 15 minutes that remains in the race. Ooh, car off ahead. That's Emery.
A little bit of a spin.
Let me take a look at that. Just a little bit too much rear end speed. I'm going to return to pit lane after that.
Probably not the best vibes going on in the DLRT right now. I'm a bit mixed. Of course, I have 3 cars in the front. I think they are happy. GTP drivers. I think the GT3 might want to have a little bit of a talk after this race about how you bump draft each other, because it doesn't seem like it's something they've been practicing too much. Anyway, Stefan Wester and Lover. As we see, he's got a nice green Porsche livery. Reminds me of a little bit of a Leaf. Yeah, actually, P2. Doing well. 5 seconds behind Lawrence, so still within reach of some traffic that could hinder the fellow Dutchman in his pace, in his gap. Balash, 18 seconds behind Albert Preem as it currently stands. It's gonna be a long way behind Matthijs and Jean-Paul, of course, but they are yet to pit. So yeah, of course, again, gonna be interesting to see if they're gonna come out ahead. It's a little difficult to tell with all the timings here how it turns out. Albert Preem 20 seconds behind Matthijs. I think actually he is gaining a little bit of a time. Balash 52 seconds behind. Gonna have to see when they come out of the pit lane, but it's not completely over yet. Yes, we have 15 minutes of racing left at Daytona.
Second quicker than the leaders last time round.
Yeah. Verdonken though gaining a little bit back on Davy van der Vacker, so it's gonna be a nice train in front. I think I might even be blessed to be seen here in the picture. We're taking Stefan Westra. And here they are, the leaders Jean-Paul and Matthijs Weiten, still in nice formation. They've been separated a couple of times, but have found back to each other. Nice to see the two racing doing well. Ooh, Matthijs, yeah. Luckily the BMW gives way, but that would have been there. And he locks up actually and goes onto the grass, so he loses some time there. Just about a second, if I would have to take a guess. It's crucial for him to try and make that back. I think we might even be looking at some in-baps very soon from these two drivers now. Jean-Paul 2 seconds up ahead, so he's lost a lot of time with that incident. Even though he got lucky with the BMW, it didn't really follow up to the West Horseshoe. The luck that he had ran out. See, only 2 corners here left, or 4 if you count all of them. Makes it nicely through the bus stop, no slowdowns, as it looked for Matthijs Weiten. Now he's only gonna have to nail down the pit lane entry.
That's it. Stands Matthias Vincent leading by 49 points on the road. If he drops back a position and Balaz moves up 1 position, there is a chance for Balaz to still win the championship. So still plenty of opportunity here for Balaz to have a solid end to this race. He's got a couple of AM cars between himself and the next pro car that he's going to have to clear if he wants to have an impact.
Okay. Yeah, really just waiting for these 2 GTPs to come out and to see where Balaz is compared to them. Albert Preem right now 500 meters behind, so he's gonna be very close to them as they're coming out. Might even get him into the picture. No, we do not. So they stay in front, Matthijs and Jean-Paul. That means that Balaz is now 40 seconds behind Albert Preem. 20 seconds, there's some timing here that's not really right. but is he 15 seconds behind? Has he lost so much time? Blash, who seemed to be having a phenomenal race, but somehow with something that we've not really seen. Maybe he had an incident in the pit lane, but as well a lot of time. He only have 11 minutes left now to try and make that bet. It's looking difficult for the I was gonna say Hungarian. I'm not sure what flag that is.
Balaz is Hungarian. You're correct.
Good.
He's had an unfortunate race, hasn't he? He's been a bit up and down.
Yeah,
as I said last weekend. It's all right. We can rotate the flag when he's in Italy. So as it stands right now, Alvaro will win in AM as well, but only by about 60 points. So that is really up for grabs as well. Calculation will just need confirming as well. So I believe I've actually calculated that wrong. So we'll confirm that for you shortly.
Yeah, it's the it's the drop bounce that's playing into this. Looking at the GTP round, Valku Jesse has a 0 points drop bound, whereas Robin Duhamel has a 248. So there are some points that have not yet been calculated in that they're gonna have to take into consideration. Not much that Robin is gonna get from this race, as he is only P4. That's not going to give him a lot of points, as he needs. He at least needs to end up in front for Alvaro, but that's looking really difficult. Also, as Alvaro is getting closer to Verdonk. But it's a bit of the same story in GT3 Pro. No, sorry, GTP Pro. Messing up a little bit. Also, Blast actually has a 0 point round, but he's P4 as well. Same problem as Robin finds himself in. It's a bit of a gap up ahead to the other drivers. So let's hope that Preem has an incident. I think it's going to look very difficult for Blast, to say the least.
Balaz is going to really struggle from here.
Yeah.
About 50 points behind where he needs to be, so he needs to move up at least 2 positions, so it's going to be an incredibly big ask.
Yeah, well, if you just take it from the bottom, then GT3M, is that Matthias? No, had a little bit of a look for a move on his teammate, but didn't go for it, so still behind. GT3, and it's of course Ignis leading not only in the championship but also by only 1 second down to Tom Carroll, but 24 seconds down to Amy Grime, or 25 as she should be with the 1 second gap. So Ignis Ignis P1, Amy is gonna go up into P2 after this race, and then Matteo Lemay, unfortunately, had a good race, was actually in front of Amy, but then they had an incident come together. Amy got a 10-second penalty, but that doesn't matter too much because Matteo is no longer in the race. So I think P3 there is already determined. Then Kasper Umelen, also a winner in the GTP Pro, a GT3 Pro. I'm not mistaken too much. It's a little bit of math that has to be taken into consideration when we talk about the championship. But I think he is pretty good right now, Kasper Umelen. Then currently Mattia Ubatali, and then Daniel Murphy P2 P3. But Daniel Murphy leading the GT3 Pro class right now, so 80 points separating the two, but I think he could get up and at least breathe even further down the neck of Matteo Batali, who's currently P4. So I think it's looking good for Daniel Murphy. He might be taking second place. Go on to the GTP, and Alvaro Gutierrez leading as well. Also leading. No, P3 in the overall. Daniel Bandavaca P3. You can see a lot of times have updated here, but it is live standings, so Alvaro is still leading, and then Robin Duhamel seems to be P3 in front of David van der Wagge, who's gonna take second place position. Remember, it's live standings that we're talking about right now, so nothing is set. We still have 6 minutes left of racing. Then Matthias Weiten has had a great race, has had a great season, so he is gonna be taking P1, then followed by Blash, who is actually only 50 points behind Matthias currently, but then Jean-Paul is gonna be taking P3. So that's the current standings. Jean-Paul could probably have been into the championship contention as well if he didn't had the pit lane incident that he had last round. I know I've been rubbing it in a few times. He's probably gonna be annoyed with me talking about it every single time, but yeah, he's been doing great. He's had a phenomenal qualifying sessions as well as Matthias, but also just converted it into great race pace.
Robin Duhamel
Likewise as
just had sorry, apologies. Robin Duhamel's just had to come into the pit lane near the end for more fuel, so wasn't able to make that early pit stop from the damage work. I can tell you right now, live standings, Daniel Morphy is going to struggle to hold on to. Is not going to be able to finish P2 as it stands in class. It looks like Matteo Ubertali will hold on to it despite running down in P4. What's going to be crucial is if Adam Jarvis can sneak past him, because if Adam Jarvis is able to get past Matteo Ubertali, I think that's going to put Matteo, well, he's still going to be leading. He's still going to be ahead of his rival there, actually, but there's still a lot to happen, and some cars not too far behind these two as well. So Matteo Ubertali needs to just hang on to this position and play it safe for the rest of the race.
Yeah, it's difficult to do these live updates of races.
Yeah,
especially with the point system that we are using. We are using the IMSA point system, of course, but it makes for some funny calculations.
Yeah, for those of you who aren't aware, I'm sat here in the background. Ule's covering main comms while I'm trying to do some Excel magic in the background that was put together by our race director Andy, but he put together a quick sheet for me to try and calculate mid-race, and that's what we're trying to do. It's a little bit difficult, but we're doing our best. He's going to try and get the standing and the final results for us ready at the end of the race, assuming there's no more additional incidents for them to look into.
But for 3 minutes, left of the race, Blas is taking a great chunk of time away from Albert Preem. Still a little unaware of how the timing tables have been working this past 20 minutes, but he's now only 8.5 seconds behind Albert Preem. So a lot of time gained, but he had too much time to begin with. So now he can only really pray for a miracle to happen if he wants to take anything away from Matthias Weiden, who's looking pretty good. He's just gonna have to keep it around for another 2 laps, maybe 3, depending a little bit on the timings. Probably only 2.
Yeah, you'd have to say the only thing that can really unwind this race for the leader of the championship as it stands, Matthias Vincent, is going to be a little battle with his teammate that goes sideways. So he's sat about 3 temps. I don't think we've ever seen him fall back further than 9 temps this entire race. So is he going to try for a move at the end, or is he going to let his teammate have this one and take the championship for himself?
That's of course difficult to say. I think with the gap that they've been having for so long time as they've had, I think he's just gonna give Jean-Paul this win. But I mean, you could also have. There's always the possibility of a GT3 coming flying through turn 1, so it's not completely over. but it is looking really good. GTPM, David van der Wagge also had a great race. He's been leading overall as a name driver. That's quite that's quite well to see. And then Verdonk, who is now 3/10 behind, so has also had a phenomenal race, also with pace as well. And then Val Gutierrez is also quarters way back and is now also within a second, now just outside of second from Verdonk. But a great P3 finish from Alvaro Gutierrez. And then a little bit of a gap down to Marcel Bouffe, as we see two GTPs in the picture. I think it's white flag.
Yeah, leaders take
says.
the white flag as
So
they
if
come
we
to
see
the
any racing between the two, it's gonna be now. But I think they're just gonna have a little bit of a parade lap. Not sure where David Badabake is currently on track, but I think he might want to join that one as well. And then if they're fast enough, they can catch the GT3 friends around the track. If they might not be the best friends currently. Anyway, GT3 Pro Daniel Murphy also looking pretty good, 1.5 seconds in front of Lawrence van Strijland. Sorry. And then GT3M, yeah, it's still Ignis, who is actually only 2/10 in front of Tom Carroll. He had that incident early on, cost him a lot of lap time, but yeah, he's been calling his way back. I want to see that battle right after we get the finish here from Matthias Weiden. He has the bus stop left. He comes through the bus stop. Doesn't look like he is crashed. So if he can turn left, I think he should be good. Tom Cowell is actually overtaking Ignis here. They are also going to be having a final lap now going into turn 1. Ignis is gonna make his way back up again up the inside. We're gonna see here Matthias Weiden. He takes a championship, P1. But Matthias Weiden doesn't take the race in the end, but he takes the all race. So I think he's gonna be happy enough with that huge.
Vincent Verdonk takes a win in GTPM. We didn't see that. Must have been right at the line. Let's try and get see if we can get a replay of that. Not sure when that happened.
Yeah, no, Ignis, Tom Cowell still having a battle here on track. Don't think Daniel Murphy is gonna slow down to get Lawrence to catch up. But 4/10 between the two GT3M drivers. See them now, they're coming onto the oval part. So it's well within the slipstream range. I think it could come down to a photo finish if Tom Cowell gets the bus stop just right. He gains time, he gains. They do have another GT3 car up ahead who may or may not get out of the way. We're gonna have to wait and see how that goes. But Ignis is under great pressure right now. Could be the perfect championship for him, but he's also gonna be having some slipstream. So Tom Cowell is pushing very hard on his throttle right now. He is gaining, but is he gaining enough? That's the great question.
Crucially, Ignis has to tow from the car in front as well, but the Mercedes is getting massively as he
This
comes
is
to the
where
line.
the
Is he going to
overspeed
dive
comes.
below? He is, but it's not enough to take the win.
Take it.
So close at the end, though. Less than a tenth of a second. We see several cars doing their donuts ahead, and Tom Carroll's going to join them.
Great race
I think
at
I am.
the end in the GT3M class. Well, it came down to just a 10th. Incredible to see.
Alvaro, nice battle.
Also, just an even closer finish in the GTPM. Actually,
Good
I'd
stuff,
love
man.
to see
Good
the
stuff.
replay of that one. I think we might get it in a little bit. But Tom Carroll P2 has been away for a long time. But great to see that someone
Ignis, mate,
in the
brilliant battle. Shame I didn't get
GT3M
you on the
class
end there.
was actually able to
Alright.
take up the fight in Ignis. Quinton Verdonk, as we see it here, he's on the outside.
That was the pass.
Yeah, it's just the overs. Yeah, it's the
Thank you
overspeed from
guys for the
the bus stop.
championship. It was amazing.
So he's
Wow.
nailed it in the
Congratulations
final
to our champions.
lap. Yeah,
Oh,
get the on board here.
David van der
as
Vacker
well.
caught
It's,
up behind a GT3
it's
on the
Amy.
exit.
It's Amy who's once again making fun of the GTPs.
deciding championships and deciding races.
Yeah. I think Amy is.
Tell the overspeeding.
He doesn't have a clutch on. No, I forgot his name.
Tell you what, Mateus did not give up at the end of that last race. He set the purple final sector and nearly took the win overall. You see the DLR cars backing everyone up after the checkered flag just out.
They need the pictures. Great race from Verdonk. Great reactions to see that his competition was compromised on the exit and then capitalizing on it.
So
That's
provisional results after 8. Disappointing final round for Balazarowski. That is going to give the championship to Mateus Vinton. They will be results will be officially confirmed by race control in a couple of days' time, or perhaps later tonight, provided there are no appeals. Alvaro Gutierrez is the AM champ. David van der Vacker got close, but that pass at the end by Quinten Verdonk took that chance away, and even then I don't think he was quite close enough to take the championship. Jean-Paul Seaman won the race in GTP Pro. It was well fought the entire race. Him and his teammates were within a few tenths of each other. We saw that mega pass on the last lap from Quinten Verdonk to take the win in GTP. Your podium sitter, Alvaro Gutierrez, was a championship winner. Well, pointing out as well, it was well fought by Albert Preem. He wasn't the quickest out there today, but he was the most consistent, and that has put him on the podium for the final race here. Alvaro, like we just said, is AM champ. Jean-Paul Mateus Vinton is GTP Pro champion. You can see it coming up on your screen as provisional results. We knew who the champions were in GT3 before this race, so congratulations to all of our champions. We're going to grab Ignis and Daniel into the broadcast booth, and hopefully we'll be joined by some more of the drivers later on. Hi, Ignis. Impressive race from you. Really, really close at the end. It was very impressive to just hold on to that. I believe that was probably the closest finishing margin we've had all season, 600ths of a second.
Yeah, that was crazy. I love the fight. Like, I think we had like the whole race we were like on each other. So I think at first he's hit the wall, or he just drove off and just kind of lost a little bit of time, and then he just the second time. I think he just went off the track. So, but he was a lot faster than me. I could see it like in the straights, in the corners. Like at half a race, he was like half a second faster than me. So for me to keep a place and finish that time is absolutely amazing. And props Tom. Like that was an amazing battle. He really deserved it. If he won, I wouldn't be mad even. It was that close. It was such a good race.
I guess showing that consistency is key. Just while we have you as well, congratulations on the championship. Also won through consistency, winning I think 6 of the races and maybe even 7 after today of the races this season. So congratulations. Are we going to see you again next season, do you think?
Of course, I'm coming back.
There we go.
See you in the next season then.
Great to have you with us, and looking forward to seeing how you'll race next season. We'll go to Daniel Morphy, winner in GT3 Pro. Daniel, I think unfortunately, we'll see when the provisional results come out, but I think unfortunately it wasn't quite enough to take the championship, but it was a mega way to end the final race of the season.
Yeah, had a great race, finally. All the 7 races were good, but wasn't able to win. Now I did. But I don't know, I know I'm not P1, but I might be P2, take over P2 from Mattia Ubetali, but I'm not sure.
No, I'm not sure. I think the results were very close, so we'll wait for race control to publish your results on that. I don't want to go ahead and jump the gun on any of them. So, yeah, good luck, and I hope it swings your way. How was the race for you? It looked like you had to fight for it.
Yeah, I was able to feel safe after behind Stefan Westera, but I think there happened something to him after the pits because he was gone. So I was able to extend the lead and try to feel safe and try to not make mistakes, and got the win.
And how did you find the GTP traffic throughout the race? We talked a lot about it. One thing is the slipstream that's playing a huge role when you're going flat out for most of the race, but another thing is the traffic that's a huge part of a race like Daytona and Monza.
Yeah, I didn't have much problems with it. I know they're gonna send it, so I'll just lift earlier, give them space, and try not to die.
Yeah, well, that also always helps. Not dying in your car.
Yeah.
At least it's a step one to making it onto a pole, as you had. So congratulations to you, and then I think we'll go on to our final driver here in the booth. It's a championship winner of the GTP Pro class, Matthias Weiden. First of all, huge congratulations. You've had a great season, not only this one, but all of the other seasons. It is a bit closer now with the competition from your teammate as well. How did you find the racing out there today?
Yeah, thanks, mate. It's really lovely to take the triple championship right now. So that's nice. Yeah, the racing today was quite good. For me, it was important to qualify high up in the of the grid. Yeah, and hoping that Bellas didn't qualify that good. Luckily, it happened. So yeah, it created some chances for me to create some gap on the front, fuel save a lot, working together with Jean-Paul, Albert, and with Davey, help them also a little bit. So yeah, we just got the strategy right today. Yeah, just happy for DLR to get nice finishing positions.
Yeah, you mentioned Blash yourself. He didn't have the best of starts. Had a little bit of an off moment and then an off moment as well in qualifying session. But that was qualifying in itself. He came up and actually was pretty close to you. I think he got within a second at some point. How was the nerves throughout? Was it after the first 20 minutes of racing?
Yeah, I was pretty relaxed. I know Bellas pitted like 3 or 4 laps earlier than I did. So I knew I had a strategy advantage with the second pit stop. So for me it was important to just create a gap big enough to break the slipstream, so I don't help him to win his championship title. Luckily, I did create a gap, and I think he just misbraked himself at the first corner again. And then he was pretty gone for my side.
Yeah, Gordon, you have been together with your teammate for the past couple of races. I don't have any more questions, so I think we'll just say congratulations once again with the third championship.
Yes, thanks, mate. Thanks for the organization. It was a fun league.
Do you have any final words, George, for our viewers?
I believe we've been joined by our race director. I don't know if he came in to give us. Oh. Apologies, everybody. Just trying to sort something out. So, yeah, big thank you to everybody that has watched this season. Big thank you to everybody in particular who's taken part and driven in this season. We will be back in just a few weeks' time for the new series. You can see the entry and you can grab an entry on the website below, and you can look at the calendar below. You can see the website popping up there as a message from Race Control. You can grab your entry on there and you can look at the calendar. Really exciting calendar. We are going to be going to Le Mans for the first time in the Still Racing IMSA series, so we're really looking forward to that race. Okay, big thank you as well to Ule, who's joined me in the booth at every event this season. So big thank you to everybody and to all of the staff here at Still Racing that make it possible. I think that's it from me. Ule, have you got any other final words?
No, not really. Other than I'm looking forward to seeing more drivers next season, and I hope some of the viewers who may not be driving right now will dust off their wheels and try and see if they can make something interesting happen in some of the M classes, if that was interests them.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. For the last time this season, thank you for joining us, everybody. You can catch up on the full season on our YouTube page. And like I said several times today, you can grab your entry to next season on our website, which is linked in the description. Thank you for a great season. And the championship results will be published on the website later this week in full. Thank you, everybody. And we'll see you next season.